On May 9th, 2026, the Kenyan entertainment industry experienced a moment of absolute stillness. One of the nation's most formidable corporate master of ceremonies, a high-ranking media executive and an undeniable powerhouse of comedy, Sunday Bush, known to millions as Dr. Ofweneke, was officially off the market. The traditional wedding ceremony uniting him with his partner, Diana Ingosi, was a masterclass. Stop. On May 9th, 2026, the Kenyan entertainment industry experienced a moment of absolute stillness. One of the nation's most formidable corporate master of MC of ceremonies, a high-ranking media executive, and an undeniable powerhouse of comedy, Sunday Bush, known to millions as Dr. Ofweneke, was officially off the market. The traditional wedding ceremony uniting him with his partner Diana Ingosi was a masterclass in luxury. The guest list features top-tier musicians, media moguls, and comedy royalty. When Ofweneke stepped up to the microphone, the atmosphere shifted to deep emotion. He spoke candidly, delivering an impassioned speech. He explicitly stated that his connection with Diana was forged in a crucible of intense spiritual discipline. He also revealed that for months leading up to the big day, the couple had committed themselves to a regime of shared prayer and fasting. It was a narrative of redemption, a public declaration that after years of personal storms, he had finally anchored his ship in peaceful, holy waters. But in the digital age, a pristine narrative can be dismantled in a matter of seconds. Just days after the glamorous wedding, pictures flooded Instagram, the entire facade came crashing down. An estranged ex-girlfriend by the name of Joan Mwaniki stepped out of the shadows, and she did not come empty-handed. She leaked an extensive collection of intimate photographs, video recordings, and time-stamped chat logs. Her claims was simple, yet devastating. She asserted that she had been in an active, ongoing romantic relationship with the comedian up until the literal moment leading to his wedding day. However, it wasn't just the allegation of infidelity that set the internet on fire. It was the specific, deeply ironic nature of the betrayal. Waniki's leaked messages revealed a timeline that directly contradicted Ofweneke's public testimony. She alleged that on the exact day the comedian was supposedly fasting and praying with his future wife, he was sending private messages to her using the exact same fasting as an excuse. According to the leaks, he told Mwaniki he couldn't see her because he was in a deep period of spiritual fasting. In reality, she claimed he was using a spiritual shield as a deceptive tool to keep his current girlfriend at a distance while he secretly finalized his wedding arrangement with another woman. To understand how a man could find himself at the center of such a massive self-inflicted storm, we must travel backward in time to a cold concrete staircase at Pumwani Maternity Hospital in Nairobi 35 years ago. Born in 1991, Sunday's life began with an act of severe rejection. When he was just 1 week old, his biological mother walked up the concrete stairs of their family residence, placed the newborn baby down, turned around, and walked away into obscurity. He was abandoned completely. Sunday was left to be raised by his father and a stepmother in the tough, unforgiving neighborhood of the Kangemi slums. He was a bright, a deeply observant child who possessed a natural wit, but the persistent ghost of his mother's abandonment followed him like a shadow. As he matured, Sunday attempted to follow the conventional blueprint for success and enrollment in law school. But your true calling has a way of hunting you down. He spent far more time entertaining his classmates, making them roar with laughter than he did studying for his exams. Realizing that he was living a lie, Sunday made a terrifying choice. He dropped out of law school entirely. The immediate consequence was a brutal descent into financial ruin. He found himself living in a tiny, claustrophobic, ironic shit shack deep within the hearts of Kangemi. The monthly rent was a mere 1,500 Kenyan shillings, yet raising that amount felt like climbing a mountain. Desperate for income, he took up a job as a personal driver for the late comedian Fred Omondi. He sat in the driver's seat of a car, navigating the congested streets of Nairobi, looking through the rear view mirror at a rising star who was living the exact life Sunday wanted.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has
By
been captioned as Kenya's youngest millionaire.
The stand-up comedy scene in Kenya was experiencing a golden era, heavy anchored by Daniel Ndambuki, aka Churchill, and his widely popular national television program, The Churchill Show. Sunday realized that if he walked onto the stage as just another young, struggling guy from Kakamega, he would be completely swallowed by the existing competition. Out of absolute desperation, Sunday engineered a brilliant strategy. He spent weeks immersing himself in West African cinema, meticulously studying the syntax and hyper-pronounced inflections of Nigerian English. He added a formal prefix to his name, grabbed a prop walking stick, and Dr. Ofweneke was officially born. He was no longer a broke dropout. He was a foreign dignitary of comedy. His very first live recording on the main Churchill stage was an unmitigated catastrophic failure. The bright lights hit him. The Nigerian accent choked in his throat, and the jokes simply did not land. The audience did laugh. They stared in utter confusion. It was such a brutal bomb that producers dropped him from the lineup immediately. But Sunday Bush was a man who had survived being abandoned on a concrete stair as an infant. A bad comedy set was not going to break his spirit. He returned to his tiny room, spent months refining the character, and injected overwhelming physical energy into his stage presence. When he finally clawed his way back to a second chance, he executed a total takeover. The delivery was seamless for months, and millions of citizens tuned in, genuinely believing that Churchill had imported a premier comic straight from Lagos. By the time the public realized he was actually a local Luya boy, it simply did not matter. The gimmick had fulfilled its strategic objective. The brand was solidified, and Dr. Ofweneke was officially a household name. Many comedians get trapped in their own character, but Sunday Bush possessed an executive mindset. He fully understood that show business is highly volatile industry with an incredibly short shelf life. He knew that the novelty of a fake Nigerian accent would eventually wear off, and he needed to pivot from being a mere stage performer to establishing himself as a premium corporate brand. He began making a conscious tactic shift when booking high-end corporate events, weddings for affluent families, and international brand launches. He deliberately dropped the over-the-top Nigerian persona. He stepped onto the stage as Sunday Bush, an immaculate, sharp-witted, articulate, and highly professional master of ceremonies. He proved to corporate Kenya that he will manage time, adhere to strict protocols, and represent a multi-million shilling brands with absolute sophistication. He positioned himself as a luxury service, and consequently, his MC performance fees skyrocketed, commanding hundreds of thousands of shillings for a single night's work. This corporate success laid the ground for a complete takeover of mainstream media. He transitioned effortlessly into radio, commanding the airways of Milele FM and the likes of Radio Maisha. But television was where his star truly shone. He hosted Tonight with Dr. Ofweneke on KTN, a late-night talk show where he demonstrated a rare, highly valuable skill: the ability to interview controversial celebrities with a perfect balance of humor and sharp interrogation. Later, he expanded his portfolio into a lucrative world of reality television, co-hosting the hit dating show Hello, Mr. Right Kenya on Rainbow TV. In the current media landscape, Sunday Bush is a media mogul sitting in executive rooms. He currently serves as a director of events at Cape Media, a rapidly expanding conglomerate that owns and operates TV47 and Radio 47. His daily schedule is a relentless grind of corporate responsibility and on-air dominance. Every single day, he hosts the massive daytime radio show Chamber Dr. Ofweneke on Radio 47, pulling in massive listenership number from across the country. Simultaneously, he maintains his flagship presence on television, anchoring Dr. Ofweneke Tonight on TV47. He completed the ultimate transformation from a broke driver in a borrowed car to a suit-wearing executive.
All this time in my life.
Yet,
what?
Precisely,
are you having a girlfriend at this time?
Life reached
I have a girlfriend who used to keep me actually.
His personal life was
before I get this money, before I get the
With his professional career followed a steep calculated trajectory upwards, Sunday Bush's romantic journey has been an absolute roller coaster, characterized by intense public scrutiny, devastating heartbreaks, and highly publicized fallouts. In Kenya, the personal lives of top-tier celebrities are public property, and Ofweneke's relationship have frequently provided endless fuel for the tabloid machine. His first major high-profile romantic chapter was with the popular gospel musician and digital content creator Nika the Queen. To the public, they appeared to be ultimate celebrity power couple, ambitious, deeply spiritual, visually stunning, and successfully co-parenting a beautiful family. They frequently shared glimpses of their domestic bliss online, painting a picture of an ideal partnership. But behind closed doors of their suburban home, the reality was starkly different. When the relationship finally fractured, the breakup was catastrophic. It wasn't a quiet, amicable separation. It was a scorched earth public war played out across local gossip blogs and social media platforms. The split was made by bitter, highly toxic allegations from both sides, including accusations of severe domestic turbulence, deep-seated infidelity, and profound emotional distress. The public fallout lasted for months, damaging brands and forcing both individuals into a long period of damage control and personal reflection. It took years for the dust to fully settle and for them to establish a functional co-parenting relationship. Following the painful collapse of his relationship with Nick, Ofweneke sought solace and stability away from the intense media spotlight. He entered into a relationship with Christine Tenderes. Together, they welcomed a beautiful daughter into the world, and for a time, it appeared that the comedian had learned the value of keeping his private life strictly private. The relationship was rarely broadcast online, shielding it from the toxic commentary of the internet. However, despite their best effort to build a lasting foundation, that chapter also quietly and privately came to an end, proving that finding lasting harmony under the heavy burden of public fame is an elusive task. By the twilight of 2025, Dr. Ofweneke made a grand announcement to his millions of followers. He had finally found his ultimate peace, his soulmate, and his final destination. That woman was Diana Ingosi. This time round, Ofweneke did not hide his affection. He was on a comprehensive media tour, appearing on various podcasts and radio shows, explicitly detailing why this relationship was fundamentally different from anything he had experienced in his past. He explained that his connection with Diana was built on a foundation that went far deeper than physical attraction or mutual career goals. It was partnership anchored in deep spiritual alignment. Mhm. He revealed to his audience that from December of 2025 all the way into the opening month of 2026, the couple had isolated themselves from the distractions of the world, committing to months of strict, intense prayer and shared fasting. They were actively cleansing their past spiritual baggage, seeking divine approval, and
Hii kitu
preparing
mimi ni
their
yule mtu
hearts for a
nikitaka
holy,
leo nataka
everlasting
kesho.
union.
Unielewa?
On the
And that is
9th
what
of
now
May
again nikaanza kuona watu
2026,
wako
they
forex
stood
mtu young
before family,
22
friends,
years 25
and God to fulfill the spiritual promise. The traditional wedding ceremony was a vision of cultural elegance and pure joy. Photos of the couple smiling, dancing, and looking radiantly happy flooded social media, receiving thousands of congratulatory messages from fans who genuinely believed that the boy from Kakamega, the boy from Kangemi, had finally conquered his inner demons and found his true happily ever after. But in the unforgiving world of entertainment and journalism, the distance between a fairy tale wedding and a public scandal can be less than a week. The honeymoon bliss had barely begun when Joan Mwaniki stepped forward to completely shatter the narrative. Mwaniki sudden emergence and the subsequent leak of intimate photographs and chat logs pulled back the curtain on an entirely different, incredibly messy reality. She did not just make baseless claims, she provided precise digital footprints. She alleged that she was actively, intimately involved with Dr. Ofweneke right up to the days immediately preceding his lavish wedding to Diana. The photograph showed a man who looked completely relaxed and invested in a separate, parallel romantic life, completely contradicting the image of a man solely focused on his impending holy matrimony. However, the specific detail that truly captured the public's imagination and caused widespread outrage was that manipulation of the timeline. John Monique's leaked WhatsApp messages exposed a calculated use of deception. According to the screenshots, during the exact week and month that Ofweneke was publicly claiming he was engaged in deep spiritual fasting and prayer with Diana to build their marriage, he was sending private messages to John using that exact same fasting as convenient excuse to avoid meeting her. Whenever John requested to see him or asked why he was being distant, he would allegedly reply that he was in a strict period of spiritual isolation and fasting, using a sacred religious practice as a fraudulent shield to hide the fact that he was actively planning a wedding with another woman. The revelation sparked an intense and resolved debate across the East African digital landscape. Social media remains deeply divided. On one side, a faction of loyal fans and industry peers continue to defend the media executive. They argue that in the brutal world of showbiz, an entertainer's past will always attempt to sabotage their future success. They claim that Monique is simply an aggrieved ex-partner seeking to destroy a man's happiness at his highest moment, and that whatever occurred before the wedding should remain in the past. On the other side of the scale, a massive wave of critics has called out that they view as gross moral hypocrisy. For this group, the issue isn't merely the act of infidelity, it is the weaponization of faith. They argue that using the concept of spiritual fasting, a practice meant for deep humility and truth, as a calculated lie to manage a secret relationship is a step too far. From a defenseless 1-week-old infant left on a cold concrete staircase in Pumwani to a broke young dropout struggling to raise 1,500 shillings rent in the mud-walled shack in Kangemi, to a brilliant strategist who invented a fake Nigerian doctor to fool an entire nation. Sunday Bush has proven beyond any shadow of a doubt that he is a master of survival. He understands human psychology. He knows how to reinvent himself when his back is against the wall, and he commands the attention of an audience like few others can. But as this current deeply personal controversy continues to unfold across the nation's screens, the entire country is watching closely. Kenyans are waiting to see how the nation's ultimate master of ceremony will steer his microphone through the most complex, chaotic, and public storm of his life. What do you think? Did the past catch up, or is this just the price of fame? Let us know down below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Do share and press the notification button. See you on the next episode.